Unsung hero. Unsung hero. Off the beaten path. Off the beaten path. Go toe-to-toe with. Go toe-to-toe with. Humble beginnings. Humble beginnings. Lean into. Lean into.
Welcome to a new deep dive. Today we're digging into the really surprising story of Micron Technology. You might not know the name like some others, but they started in a basement, and now, well, they're right at the heart of the AI revolution. Our mission here is to figure out why their journey is so important, especially right now in tech. And yeah, our sources point to a pretty unusual start for such a major player, definitely not the standard tech story.
Exactly. What's really fascinating is that Micron didn't, pop up in some Silicon Valley garage. That's what everyone assumes, right?
Totally. So if not there, where did this unsung hero actually get its start?
Okay, so picture this. 1978, Boise, Idaho.
Boise.
In the basement of a dental office, believe it or not. You had 4 engineers, Ward Parkinson, Joe Parkinson, Dennis Wilson, and Doug Pittman. Their big idea was to make memory chips. But they didn't, burst onto the scene. It was a quiet, steady thing. Started with design services, then got into DRAM. And they got crucial backing from J.R. Simplot.
A potato guy, really.
The very same. The local Idaho business titan. That support helped them build their first fabrication plant, their first fab, and they went public in 1984.
Wow, a dental office basement in Boise backed by potatoes. It just it makes you think, doesn't it? How many other big companies started way off the beaten path? It's pretty amazing they've not only survived all these years, but are now so critical.
It really is. And here's what makes Micron genuinely unique today. It's the only major U.S.-based company making mainstream memory chips on a global scale.
The only one.
The only one.
Right.
We're talking DRAM, that's the main memory in your computer, and NAND flash, which is in SSDs, your phone storage, all that stuff. They're going toe-to-toe with giants like Samsung and Skhainicks from South Korea and Japan's Kioxia.
That position seems incredibly strategic, especially now with all the talk about supply chains and, geopolitics. Does being the only big American player give them some special kind of leverage in this whole AI race? And, the memory market can feel a bit like a commodity business, right? So how do they actually stand out, especially in AI where everyone's looking for that edge?
That's a great point. And it really gets to the heart of, how a company reinvents itself. Micron's making its mark by focusing hard on AI-optimized memory, specifically high-bandwidth memory, or HBM.
HBM.
Think of it like super fast, multi-lane highways for data built right next to the processor. AI chips, especially GPUs, are incredibly hungry for data, and HBM feeds them. Now, Micron got into the HBM game a bit later than some others, but they're catching up fast, really fast. They're projecting, get this, over $1 billion in HBM revenue for their fiscal year 2025.
$1 billion, just from HBM.
Just from HBM. That's likely over 10% of their total annual revenue from this one high-growth area. That's a massive strategic leap. So if you think of NVIDIA building these Formula One race cars for AI, Micron is now building the custom high-octane engine needed to power them.
Okay, that analogy really clicks. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So who's steering the ship through this huge shift?
That would be CEO Sanjay Mehrotra. He came aboard in 2017. He actually co-founded SanDisk before this, so he knows memory. He's really pushed Micron to focus on developing their own proprietary tech, pivoting hard towards these AI-centric products, and crucially, leaning into their U.S.-based manufacturing. And you're seeing their chips become, pretty indispensable in high-end AI systems, especially working alongside NVIDIA's GPUs.
Right. So let's bring it back to the listener. For you keeping tabs on tech and this AI explosion, what's the big takeaway here? Why is Micron's story something to watch?
Well, I think understanding Micron gives you a much richer view of the AI ecosystem. You see where the real value gets built and maybe where some critical dependencies lie. Companies like NVIDIA are grabbing all the headlines, and deservedly so for their innovation. But Micron is one of those key players working quietly behind the scenes. They enabled that intelligence. Their whole journey from that basement to powering cutting-edge AI, it really shows resilience and sharp strategic focus. It tells you that the foundations, the enablers, are just as vital as the star players. Definitely a company to keep an eye on as AI infrastructure keeps growing.
So we've taken a deep dive into Micron's really incredible transformation from those super humble beginnings right into being a key player enabling the future of AI.
And here's maybe a little something to think about. Given Micron's quiet, almost hidden but essential role, what other crucial behind-the-scenes technologies might be out there? You know, the ones we often overlook, but which are actually shaping the AI future just as much. What else should you maybe be paying closer attention to?